What's going on, Canes fans? And I guess that I do need to give a shout out to any Notre Dame fans that maybe stumble across this video as well, because I love seeing the banter down in the comment section. So please, Notre Dame fans, if you watch this, chime in. Let's chop it up. Let's go back and forth. Let's have some fun with this game. And of course, everyone else who is a part of this college football family that roots for another team, because I know that you would all prefer to see Miami get a win here. It's much appreciated. Now, just in case you didn't get the reference in the intro skit, I actually started this channel back in 2017, and that was the last time that Miami and Notre Dame played, and I did a preview for that game, just like I'm doing for the one here in 2025. And I had this big idea that I was going to hype everybody up, and it was going to be super cool at the beginning. I was going to come out and flip a table, and everybody was going to go wild. And it did actually turn out to be a pretty big hit. I thought that it looked a lot cooler in my head, though. So it's kind of just a nod to that back in the day when we first started the channel. And for the superstitious people out there, I flipped the table back in 2017. Big win for Miami. 2025, I started out this preview video flipping the table. Will the result be the same? But anyways, let's jump into this preview. The number 10 Miami Hurricanes taking on number 6 Notre Dame at Hard Rock Stadium on a Sunday night. You heard me right, Sunday night. It's Labor Day weekend. So many people are going to be off on Monday. It's going to be such a crazy atmosphere. 7:30 p.m. Eastern time on ABC. But let's be brutally honest from the start. Both of these teams have some big questions going into this game, especially Miami. The Fighting Irish will be starting a redshirt freshman quarterback, CJ Carr, who's never completed a pass in a live game at the collegiate level. They also hired a new DC, which their fan base would like to believe that that's a positive thing, but to be fair, that's to be determined. Now, the DC comment also applies to Miami, but to make things even more interesting for the Canes, the DB room is loaded with a bunch of portal guys who haven't played together. Now, there are some guys that are returning, but the back end of the defense is almost fully rebuilt. So we kind of find ourselves in the same position. We would like to say, hey, you know what? We improved. This is going to be better. But we don't know that for sure. Now, Notre Dame, they were good defensively already. So it's going to be more of a, do they stay as good? Or do they maybe possibly find a way to get better? Or do they take a step back? Now, Miami did bring in the very experienced transfer QB Carson Beck. And I have to say that I've been quite shocked at the amount of disrespect I've seen being thrown his way by Notre Dame fans and just college football fans in general. This is a guy who has won a lot of football games. He's played in many big-time environments, but I understand that that's not the sole focus of this video, just to talk about Beck. But I will say there are some potential negatives, or not even negatives, but again, questions going into this one, because Miami's receiver room has not really proven much yet, at least not at Miami. Transfers and younger guys and players with limited snaps. So will the chemistry be there? Will the timing be there? There's no warm-up game. This is a national championship runner-up team that has a very stout defense, so Miami doesn't really have time to be trying to figure things out offensively. You got to be firing on all cylinders game number 1. And if we want to continue being honest here, Notre Dame comes in with a solid run game courtesy of Jeremiah Love. But quarterback Riley Leonard played a big role in that run game in 2024. And of course, he is now gone. And it looks like that maybe head coach Marcus Freeman might be trying to look down the field a little more, since many noted that CJ Carr should be the more explosive downfield passer compared to Kenny Minchey. The reality that really no one wants to talk about is the fact that losing this game would not be the end of the world for either team. Both would be expected to bounce back and have a pretty darn good season, even if they were to drop this first game. But I would still really prefer to win it, please. But let's take a quick look at the history between these two teams. Miami and Notre Dame have played 27 times in total, with the Fighting Irish leading that series 18-8. There is one tie on there from way back in 1965 when I believe the final score was actually 0-0. The most recent matchup was, again, 2017. And of course, we all know Miami won, and won big in that one. And just one little fun fact that I want to add here that I do believe is very important. The last time Notre Dame beat Miami at Miami was 1977. Now, in future videos, this will typically be where I would discuss some average stats so far this season for both teams. But of course, we would have to be referencing things from previous seasons, given that this is game number 1. And I don't want to spend an extended amount of time discussing what happened last year. So instead, what we're going to do is actually take a peek at the final scores from the virtual season. If you don't know what that is, during the summer, I go live and simulate every game for the Miami Hurricanes football season. I do 2 different ones. I do CPU versus CPU, my hands off of the controller. We let the computer do the work and figure things out for both teams. And then the next day, I go live and I control the team, being the Miami Hurricanes, of course. So what you're looking at right now is the computer-controlled game, and Miami came out on top in that one 34-26. So an 8-point victory for the Canes. And next up here is the Coop plays version, which unfortunately ended up being a Notre Dame victory 33-28. But both of these were actually quite close. Now, I know that some of you are asking the question, maybe you're new here or maybe you check out in the summer. Both of those obviously are A-okay. But you might be wondering why any of that matters, what I just showed you and what we were talking about. And the answer straight up is that it doesn't. It's just fun to look back and see how close or not close they were when compared to the real game. Because sometimes in the past it's been eerily close. At times, it's also been way off. It's just something kind of fun to do, all right? But now let's transition over to 3 keys to a victory for both of these teams. And how about we kick it off with the Miami Hurricanes? Coming in at number 1, get out to an early lead and keep that momentum. This will ensure that the crowd stays rowdy, which will be very important and provide a home field advantage here for the Canes. Also, if CJ Carr possibly gets off to a poor start, this combo could be absolutely catastrophic for the Fighting Irish. And I know that they continue to make attendance jokes. Trust me, I've seen it all over social media. But the only attendance that truly matters for this game is, well, this game. And I'm not a fan of bringing up the past all that often, but we all know Exhibit A, how it looked in 2017. So they really can't say that the last time we played them that it didn't get loud, or it's not possible for Miami fans to show up. I've seen multiple references to, well, look at this game or look at that game. We are playing Notre Dame. The attendance at the Notre Dame game is the one that is relevant and matters for this game. Number 2, sometimes the simple answer is the right solution. And I don't think that there's any reason to overthink this. Focus on stopping the run and force CJ Carr to show you that he can make some big boy throws early on. If he ends up playing well, you can always adjust accordingly. Just be open and prepared to do that, and do it quickly. At the end of the day, no one really knows what he's capable of right now. You do know they should be good at running the ball, and I mean, not even should be, they will be. And Jeremiah Love is great at making the first guy miss. So also make sure that you wrap up and bring that man down. And lastly, big success on special teams. Now, before you think this is some sort of generic key, at the time of filming this, we don't know if Miami's kicker will be Bert Auburn or Carter Davis. Davis has very limited experience coming in from FAU, and Bert is questionable from 40 plus. Let's be real, he was 6 of 12 from that range at Texas last year. So Miami must hit those field goals. And also use BYU transfer Keelan Marion to hopefully set up favorable field position on kickoffs. He returned 2 of them for touchdowns last year, and I have a feeling whoever executes better on special teams could end up winning this ball game. And now 3 keys to a Notre Dame victory. And coming in at number 1, successful QB play in the red zone. If Miami does in fact sell out on stopping the run, you need quick and smart decisions from the young QB CJ Carr in the red zone specifically. You want to walk away with points, not picks. Number 2, weather the storm. Possibly, quite literally, it could be hot, wet, and humid in this one. But really here, I just mean if you go down early. I know this sort of ties in with my key for Miami on the fast start, but Notre Dame can't afford to panic. I know they mostly bring a lot of experience into this game, but again, it's going to be a raucous environment, quite unpleasant for them. Exhibit A. And lastly, run a lot of man coverage and force Miami's wide receivers to try and beat you. Your corners are elite. There's no denying that. And it could be tough for Miami's receivers to create separation. That's a big question mark for Miami. I've been open and honest in saying there are some big name guys like CJ Daniels, and Miami fans would like to believe in JoJo Trader. You know, where is Carr? What about the young guys like Josh Moore and Tony and all those guys? But at the end of the day, we don't really know how they look under the lights, especially against, again, Notre Dame's elite corners. So there's a big question mark right now when it comes to Miami's receivers. So force them to try and win those one-on-ones. All right, so it's almost the time you've all been waiting for. But before I give my score prediction, and let me tell you, I've never been more confident in anything in my entire life than this score prediction that I have put together for this game. I have decided to bring back the Max Picks segment where I let my dog pick the winner of this game. Last year he ended at 7-5, and what I like to do is each week I compare our picks, mine versus his, and we see who ends up being closer. But also, just to show how unpredictable college football can be, I'm introducing a new segment for every preview video that's going to be this right here. Enjoy.
Pickle predicts.
Will the Miami Hurricanes beat Notre Dame?
The mystical pickle swirls indicate a fermented yes.
Let's see what Max has to say. All right, so here we go. And his pick. Oh no, guys. It's Notre Dame. We go with the treat that he eats first because, well, as you can see, this boy likes his treats because he's the bestest boy. But he did choose Notre Dame for this one. We do always like to look at 2 very important things before I finally give my numbers here. And the first one is the ESPN matchup predictor, which gives Notre Dame a 54.9% chance to win this football game, and Miami 45.1%. And at the time of filming this video, FanDuel has Notre Dame as a 2.5-point favorite, with the over-under coming in at 49.5 points. Now, all of the trash talk aside here, of course, I'm going to run my mouth. I root for the guys in the orange and green. This is a very difficult game to predict. And honestly, I think that it should be for Notre Dame fans as well. They seem very confident, at least the ones that I have interacted with on social media. I don't know if that's a front. You know, maybe they're trying to just manifest the win. But I think that this is a tough game to to give a score prediction on. Obviously, you know, a lot ESPN and Vegas believes that it could be a close one, and I will say that I think the same. I think this will be a tough game for both teams, but I have Miami putting up 27. And the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Are you sure, Coop? Are you sure? I am. Putting up 24. The Miami Hurricanes starting 1-0 in 2025 with a 3-point victory. I don't think either team is blowing the other out. I do believe that it could be close and probably will be. But who knows, man? Who knows? I do know that I have Miami on top. You know, I just think for Notre Dame, I believe they are a darn good football team. I think that Miami has to figure things out quickly offensively because their defense is phenomenal, and I think that they're going to be really good this year. Their run game will be solid. Their O-line is good. They don't even have a whole lot of transfer guys, which I understand you can bring in guys like what Miami has done, right, in areas of need, some guys that can be potential immediate impact players. But Notre Dame has some guys that have been playing together for several years, and I think that that is helpful, especially if they're good players, right? But really that quarterback position, man, I think it comes down to that you know, a lot of people are just saying, just run the ball, just run the ball. You don't have to worry about CJ Carr, but at some point the dude is going to have to throw the ball around. And this is a guy who's throwing his first passes in a live game at Hard Rock, where hopefully Miami will again have a home field advantage, and it can be super rowdy. As long as Carson Beck has chemistry with the tight ends and the receivers, and Fletcher and Lyle can kind of be that 1-2 combo, the O-line should be solid. I don't see any reason here why Miami can't pull out a victory. Carson Beck, you can point out the 12 interceptions and things last year, but the dude has won some big time football games. He's 24-3 as a starter, and so many people want to talk about talent surrounding him, and it wasn't him. Welcome to a team sport. And hopefully Shannon Dawson, you know, has built this offense around him. I have no reason to believe otherwise unless he shows me that I should. So I think that Miami starts out hot. They get a win week 1. As I just think it's a W. I think it's a W. But please do not be shy. Notre Dame fans, Florida State, Alabama, Georgia, Miami, of course. Whoever you are watching this video, leave your score prediction. If you don't have the balls to put a score prediction down there, I'm not insulting you. I understand, right? Maybe you don't want to put that out there. Let's at least chop it up about this game. This is the first preview of the season. I'm so freaking excited. College football is back. And don't forget that we will be doing a watch party for this game. I'll be live. The siren is all lubed up and ready to go. It's always an absolute blast. People get in there and they troll. We react, we pull up stats and stuff, and we all just watch the game together and have a really good time. And that'll be live right here on this channel. And also, I did film a Notre Dame diss track. You've either already seen it because I released it before this, or it's coming up soon, maybe the same day as this, maybe the day after. But make sure you're subscribed to this channel so you do not miss that. I don't think that Notre Dame fans are going to be ready for this one. I don't think the college football world is going to be ready for this one. I had a blast making it, and it's just a lot of fun, man. I post those to rile up the fan bases. It's not because I even think that they're good. I don't enjoy rapping, if I'm being real and honest with you guys that have made it to the end of the video, but I have a heck of a lot of fun filming the music videos, and I just like stirring the pot at the end of the day. So remember though, guys, we're all one big happy college football family, but at the end of the day, I gotta say, it's always better when you get to rep the U. Coach Coop, peace out. I'll see y'all in the next one.